Sequences word problems. Barak received 12 rare stamps as a gift from his grandfather, so he decided to start a stamp collection. From the following week onward, Barak added 4 new stamps to his collection. Notice the word added. Anytime you use the word of addition, anything with addition or subtraction is going to be arithmetic sequence. Anything with multiplication or anything related to division is going to be geometric. So since he was adding to his collection, this is arithmetic. Now, he started with how many stamps here? Well, he says he received 12 stamps from his grandfather. So that's what g of 1 is. So g of 1 is 12. Now, this is arithmetic, so that means we're going to add to it. He says that he added 4 new stamps to his collection each week. So each week after this, he's adding 4. So we started with 12, and then we add 4. Ataya sent a chain letter to 100 of his friends and asked them to forward it to their friends. Each day since then, the number of people who received the letter was 20% more than the day before. So we want to figure out the number of people who received the letter. Okay, so now you see the percentage here. Anytime you have percents, you're going to change to decimals. Percents and even fractions are a good indicator that it's geometric. So this is geometric sequence. Now on this chain letter, he sent a chain letter to 100 of his friends. So that's what g of 1 is. Whatever you start with, that is what your first term is. So in this case here, it's 100. Now, this is multiplication. Now we're going to have 20%. So let's talk about this now. So we're going to have 20%. So we have 20%. Now we're going to add this to 100%. And I'll explain in a moment why we do this. So you're going to take 20% plus 100%. You're going to get 120%. Now you want to change your percent to a decimal. So this becomes 1.20. So that's going to be the number. Now let's go back and talk about why did I add it to 100%. Well, here's the thing. It says when he receives a letter, they want to continue 20% more. So you want this to increase. If you simply multiply by 20%, you're taking 20% of the number each time, and you don't want that. You want the number to grow. So this 100% is what's in there now. This 20% is what's the new growth. So again, the 100% is what's in there now. This is your new growth. So what we do is we add these together and we make it 1.20. Now another way of thinking about this is pennies. You could take 120%, and notice again, we've done this before in class, we write out the word percent, and this means per pennies. So we would have 120 cents. But if you have 120 pennies, so 120 cents or 120 pennies. So let's think of these as pennies. What is the value of 120 cents or 120 pennies? Well, the true money value of this would be $1.20. So that's another way of thinking about how do you change these percents to a decimals. You can think of them as pennies, because you can ask yourself, okay, I got 120%, which is 120 pennies, and from there that's going to be $1.20. So right here we'll go 1.20. Okay, Vera uploaded a hilarious video of a squirrel to a funny video website. It was viewed 320 times on the first day. Each day since then, the number of views was 25% more than the previous day. So again, you see the percent there. We stated before that if we have a percent, it's going to be geometric sequence. Now, looking at the problem here, what is our first number here? It was viewed 320 times on the first day. So that means the very first number we have here is 320. So we have 320. Now we want to figure out this 25%. So we're going to take this 25% and we're going to add it to 100%. And that's going to be 125%. If I move my decimal 2 places to the left here, it's 1.25. Now again, if you're unsure with that, let's take the 125%. Remember, these are pennies. So think of this as pennies, 125 pennies. What's the true value of 125 pennies? If I gave you that, you wouldn't say it's $125. No, you would say it's $1.25. So what are we going to multiply by? Well, we're going to go ahead and multiply by 0.25. So let's bring this up here. So we're going to multiply by 1.25. Now remember, you have to use these parentheses. I don't know what it is with Khan Academy, but if you don't put these parentheses around these second numbers here, it just doesn't work out. Now you want to use your AB key to bring this as an exponent. So let's go ahead and put down parentheses. So we have the n minus 1. It all stays at the exponent, because if this is not there, I found that the second part, the minus 1, will always drop. So we're going to say n minus 1. So what do we have here? We started with 320 times. The video was shown. It was a 25% more than before, so this is our 25%. This is what was before, because remember, the 100% always represents what the actual view was from the previous day, and then we want to grow it to 25%. Well, you get 125%. You think of this as 125 pennies, which is what is the money value of 125 pennies? Well, it's $1.25. And then we take the n minus 1. We always finish with that, but we make that as an exponent. Okay, Wanton purified a portion of water with 900 grams of contaminant. Each hour, a third of the contaminants were filtered out. Let G of n be the amount of contaminants in grams that remained at the beginning of the nth hour. So we want to know what's remaining. So what we're doing is removing 1/3, but we're not, since we're removing it, we're going to have 2/3 left over, but I'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But anyway, right here we're multiplying it because we got a fraction. Anytime they mention a fraction, it's generally going to be geometric. So this is geometric. So now our first term here, actually first term that we start with is 900. So we go 900. Now let's talk about the next part. Okay, next part. We want to filter out 1/3. So that means we want to remove 1/3 from what we have. So we take 3/3, because 3/3 would be 1 or 1 part, because the reason why it's 3/3 is our denominator is 1/3. So let's take 3/3, subtract it from the 1/3, because this is what we want to remove. So what do we have left over? 2/3. So that's what we want to multiply by. We do not want to multiply by 1/3. We want to multiply by 2/3. And the reason why I know that, that's what remains. So if you make your fraction, because your denominator is 3, this is what you're removing is 1/3. Your denominator is 3, so you want to remove 1/3. So you want to subtract the 1/3 from the 3/3. This leaves you with the 2/3. So what we're times in here is by 2/3. So we want to go ahead and press our multiplication. Again, use your parentheses, and we want to make this a fraction of 2/3. Okay, now we want to come out of this, press your AB key. Now use your parentheses again, and remember, we want to finish with n minus 1. So we go back, look at the problem. We started with 900. We're removing 1/3 of this. So we're removing 1/3. We have a fraction. Again, that's a good indicator. Fraction or percents, even decimals, are good indicator. Those are geometric sequences. Remember, we're removing 1/3, so we only want to know what remains. So if you take 3/3, subtract the 1/3, what remains is 2/3 each time. So what we're doing is we're timesing by 2 over 3, but again finishing with the m minus 1 as the exponents there. So we'll go ahead and check this.